Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. It is like 12:30 in the morning, which kind of ordinary for me these days, surprisingly, but not so ordinary when it comes to the freaking weekends. I woke up at like freaking 10 last night and was like, I've been awake since, essentially. So that'd be maybe 14 hours or something like that, so I don't know. Stupid mouse. You know what? I've got one of those built-in kind of mouse, and you know what I hate about them is how sensitive they are. They'll like click on things randomly. You know, like with a mouse you use to point and all that, but with the freaking built-in mouse, it sometimes acts as the freaking point. Well, the left click and all that is freaking annoying when he does that. But anyways, we left off with Hanako's bad ending. That wasn't really all that bad, and then we went to the antique shop. I can't quite remember any more than that, honestly. So, oh yeah. Neutral ending time. I just know it's going to be worse than the bad ending, because, well, it happened with Rin, and I'm not sure if it happened with Emmy, but it probably did as well. I listen carefully to what Lily has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. I want to be with Hanako more. I want to be a better friend to her, to support her when she needs support, and to be there when she most needs people. I think that now is one of those times. Memory of the store owner we met in town together still puts me off. Wait. I wouldn't have referenced that if they didn't go, so this is what makes the difference, I suppose. Anyone who takes even the slightest glance at Hanako ends up staring, and to fault them for it would be completely hypocritical, given my own reaction. So if you didn't choose that, would you get the bad ending, like, regardless of what you do, or do you get the bad ending or the neutral ending? Because it sounds like it's probably would only get a bad ending if you don't pick the choice to go into town. Did I read that? And then, fault to them for it would be completely hypocritical given my own reaction. I didn't like my own scarring either, but at least I can cover it up with something as simple as a shirt. I imagine a life where every day would be spent trying to hide myself as much as possible. On top of that, Hanako doesn't even have people around her that would support her no matter what she looks like. I live away from my parents, but I can still contact and visit them when I wish. It sounded German the way I said that. It's just like wish. Wish. What the hell? I roll over the best course of action in my head and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as evenly as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but the both of us don't really have much stomach for it in the light of recent events. We say our goodbyes before I hang up. Oh, no, I don't remember the previous recording, because it went on for like, what, 4 parts, I think I got out of that recording. Literally went over, just over 2 hours. And he went out of sync near the end, and I think that's probably why the longer I record, the more likely it is to go out of sync. There is at least one thing I can do for Hanako. If I make this small gesture for her, I can only hope that she allows me to come that little bit closer. After talking to Lily at the end of the school day, I sat at my desk and looked out the window, idly watching students leave the school building. Usually they left in groups, but even when they left alone, they'd say goodbye to their friends first. It's completely normal, something that I would have missed completely had it been any other day, because it's so mundane. But it's also something Hanako has never had in the time that I've known her. As I stand outside of Hanako's door for the second time in as many days, that fact doesn't leave my mind. I hold 2 plates in my hands. On each is not exactly the most hearty of meals, but I want to be sure that Hanako is at least feeding herself. Also, maybe a sign to gain a little leverage to getting her to let me in. Lily and I have tried our best to be there for her, ever since she broke down in class. I ideally wanted to protect Hanako. Such a thing happening to her again, or even something worse, is something I don't want to think about. So is he just like, food! Food makes everything better, Hanako! I'm gonna bribe you with food. The dog gives a solid series of thuds as I knock on it while carefully propping up one plate on my arm. Yo, I'm actually kind of hungry myself, honestly. I doubt Hanako will open it for me, so all I can really hope to accomplish is to attract her attention. Evening, Hanako. It's just me. I pause for a moment to see if she will respond, but the fact she doesn't isn't very surprising. I have some food for the both of us. Could I come in? It's just like, food! You will answer the door for that, right? What feels like a very long time, some muffled voices from the floor below are the only sound to be heard. And I can hear the sound of bare feet on the floor coming up to the door, and I have to stifle a sigh of relief as I hear the door's lock being worked. Wait. Yeah, she did, didn't she? I think. Yeah. Oh, did she come to the door? I think she did in the previous one as well. When Hanako opens the door, I look at her intently. She looks up momentarily to the plate in my left hand. It's a modest curry dish I quickly made from a packet. Her eyes move to the plate in my right hand, which holds the same thing before looking down again. As she shuffles back into her room, I realize that I haven't said a word to her. I glumly follow her in, slightly embarrassed by having been so wrapped up in observing. More than ever, the grey and stark atmosphere of Hanako's room feels like a reflection of her personality. The voices from outside become completely inaudible, and the silence inside oppressive once I close the door. Walking to the far end of the room, I place the two plates on her desk. I'm thankful that she let me in, but as I turn to face her, I can't help having second thoughts about coming to see her. I don't believe Lily was right, though. Looking at Hanako like this, I can only think that giving her space is the last thing we should be doing. I don't want to imagine it, but she may do something very foolish. Like what? Yeah, it's just an instant meal, but it should be filling. I take a plate in my hand, offering it to her. She wordlessly takes it and sits on the side of her bed. I take a seat in her chair, and the familiar sound of eating rings in the room as we dig in with the forks that were stuck into the rice. The curry itself tastes okay. I wouldn't expect much more from a packet whose brand I didn't recognize. Just not being horrible is at least something. Eating takes the edge off the fact that she isn't talking. None of us really likes to talk while we're eating, and this reminds me of the lunch times we so often spent together. It's kinda nice, eating together like this. Hanako looks at me quizzically. It's at least a better expression than what she's been wearing this far. Became friends mainly over shared lunch breaks, so it's nice to go back to those times with me. She hesitates for a couple of seconds, and I find myself grimacing. Did I say something wrong? Oh. Eventually she smiles and nods. I would normally be very encouraged by this, but her smile looks strange. I can't quite put my finger on why.
Everything's the same as before, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. You've still got Lily and me to help you and protect you, and once she gets back, everything will be just like she never left. Hanako nods again, her expression remaining exactly the same as before. She feels like a different Hanako from the one I've first seen when I entered her room, and it's vaguely off-putting. Both of us go back to finishing off our dinners after the short exchange. Despite Hanako looking happier than before, my eyes keep flicking to her as if to reassure myself of this fact. Before long, the last of Hanako's curry is cleared. I finish the last of mine as she puts the empty plate on the desk, and place my own empty plate and use fork on top of hers. I briefly wonder what I should say, desperately wanting to avoid an awkward silence or the prospect of leaving her room after so short a time, but Hanako is the one to speak up first.
I was wondering, since you're here...
She quickly goes to one of her drawers and after a minimum of fussing around pulls out her chessboard. Well, this is different, isn't it? Well, naturally.
Would you like to play?
This time I can't stifle a sigh of relief that escapes my lips. It didn't work out last time when he was like, hey, how about we play a game of chess or something? I hastily agree and Hanako promptly busies herself setting up while I get off the chair and take a seat on her bed. Once again, Hanako is willing to let me into her world, with so simple a gesture as a game shared between us. I guess I was just winding myself up for no reason. After the board is laid down on the bed between us, we finish placing our respective pieces on it. Throughout our friendship, we've never exchanged that many words. When we're like this, though, I see that perhaps we never really needed to. Just a simple book or board or meal between us is enough to bridge that distance. I make the first move, just as I've always done. This is the way our friendship was, and this is the way it will probably always be. Something definitely feels different about her, though, and I can't quite grasp what it is. I look at Hanako intently, but I can't work out anything from her expression. As physically close as we may be, it feels like we're further apart than ever. Hanako is a fragile person, and though I would never want to hurt her. That was also the way things always were, and the way things between us will probably always be. Huh? What? 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 That's it? That's the neutral ending? It's just like, yeah, he realizes that they will only be friends, and that's the neutral ending. I was expecting some really dramatic, depressing ending, and it turned out to be that? Oh well, what should we play for the credits this time? Freaking got the pick facing wrong way there. You've been friend-zoned. I guess it must have just been Rin's ending that was the more depressing one. I mean, her neutral ending was just like, oh man, that was no. But Hanako's bad ending and her neutral ending, not really all that depressing. Like, her bad ending was, get the fuck out, essentially. And he was like, okay, I'll fuck off then. And neutral ending is, I realized that I was going to be friend-zoned and honestly didn't mind it. Or something, I don't know. I mean, I was expecting... I guess she doesn't flip out at him in a neutral ending. But it is an actual thing that happens in the normal good ending as well. And, so how long was that then? Let me just check. That's not enough to even make a single part. It's just like, yeah, her neutral ending... And it's gonna be the same as the last part, isn't it? Where it's like bad ending and other stuff in the title, essentially, isn't it? Let's do this the correct way then. I don't want to admit it, but she may have a point. Something else bugs me though. And you tried to amend this? Wait, heading into the city?
Quite astute. I thought that it might help if I dragged both of you out of Yamaku and into the wider world. Eventually you became close for it, though.
So she noticed that. I suppose she may well have been paying attention to us, and her hearing's incredibly good. Quite likely good enough to have picked up what we were talking about if she tried. It sounds more and more like you were manipulating us. Silence. It's a harsh way of putting it, but I have no intention of stepping back from those words.
I'm sorry, I was just worried about you.
It's fine, I guess there are more important things anyway. It's not a total surprise that she'd do such a thing. Her lovely nature can be slightly overbearing at times, but she does have the best of intentions. So you think I should think about myself more instead of trying to cater to Hanako?
That largely sums it up. Again, I'm sorry for not telling you this in a clearer way before going behind your back. I know I'm at least as guilty of being overprotective of Hanako as you, but I fear that you are neglecting yourself in your efforts to give Hanako happiness.
Do you really think Hanako will be okay?
She isn't as fragile as you think. I don't know exactly what experiences she's lived through, what feelings she has in her mind, but she has managed to work her way through them until now. It's also my hope that giving her a little space will allow her to decide what she truly wants for herself, and give her the initiative to reach out for it. Please have faith in Hanako. That's all I ask.
I guess I'll think about it for a while.
That's good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. I know that at times you may doubt your relationship to Hanako, but she does.
Lily cuts herself off and takes a moment to reconsider her words.
Please, keep in mind that I wouldn't have befriended you if I hadn't thought you a fundamentally good person. You're a good friend, both to myself and to Hanako.
Thank you. That helps. We share some small talk to try and lighten the atmosphere, but it feels very stilted. There's a lot I don't know about Lily's stay in Scotland. After such a heavy subject, I want to be alone for a bit to think. So he doesn't go rush into our room then? After a few minutes, we end up saying our goodbyes and I set my phone on my desk. Compared to Hanako's situation, mine feels utterly mundane. I still have both of my parents. I had a reasonably normal childhood. Unlike many in Yamaku, my condition isn't immediately visible to the public. But then again, isn't this just an attempt to justify the way I've been acting towards her? That way may well be what our past were like, but when it comes to the future, I still have no idea what I want to do. In school, I've just concentrated on each day's work, and I've put off more and more things to cater to Hanako. I recall the words Muto told me after Hanako's breakdown, about the purpose of Yamaku and my education, and in hindsight, he was probably trying to push exactly the same thing. Just what have I been doing in the time since my heart attack? If I ever did manage to get Hanako out of her room and to open up, what then? I look out of my dormitory window as the sun slowly sets. It's a nice sight, but what I really savor is the quiet as the students return to their dormitory rooms. All I want to do now is think. I'm not sure how much time I have, but I want to work out where I'll go from here. Screwed that up, didn't I? Since talking to Lily yesterday, I've wanted to try and move on from the listlessness I've felt ever since coming to Yamaku. But even if I try to concentrate on the book in front of me, Hanako's empty seat at the back of the classroom looms larger than life. Every time I start getting focused, my eyes flick over to her desk again and my mind starts spinning. Oh, it's her again. Once more my eyes drift over to it, but this time my vision is blocked by a certain other classmate. Oh, hey Miki. Maybe we should just have lunch. I can hear a stomach growling from my desk. I let my head drop in disappointment. She seems to take some amusement from my reaction, and hops up onto my back. My desk. Back, what? Oh man, I freaking should get some sleep. But I might once we're done with the recording, edit it, as long as it doesn't split off into like 3 parts or something, because there's no way I'm editing all that in one sitting. But yeah, her grin as she sits on it reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. So, what you working on? Some math. I have a decent handle on it, but I just wanted to revise. Oh really? Let me see that. Before I can object, she grabs my mathematics book with her hand. She scans the page I was on, holding it up with the one hand she has, her left arm sitting uselessly on her lap. In my time here at Yamaku, I've noticed that yellow students have a wide range of adjustments to their disabilities. On a purely practical level, Miki is one of those that seems to have some trouble. The stump of her left arm tends to be either hanging by her side, slipped into a pocket, or otherwise put out of the way. Sometimes she has a difficult time doing common tasks, which makes her visibly quite frustrated. I feel a little bad for thinking this way, but I'm thankful that Hanako and I don't have disabilities affecting our freedom of movement to that extent. Then again, if Miki's problem worsened, at least she wouldn't have a real possibility of dying. My attention is refocused as she thumbs through a few pages, skimming their contents. With such casual interest in the subject matter, it's clear by now that she won't be any other. I'm guessing you're not too interested in this stuff. Screw math, it's boring as hell. She puts the book back in front of me with indifference. Her eyes move to the notebook beside it that I've been working at practice equations on. You know, that's the thing with maths. It's one of those subjects where you either hate it or you love it. And personally, I don't like it. I'm crap at math. I wasn't always bad at math, but I'm crap at math now. It's just such a pain in the ass. There's just so much to it. It's like I've got an interest in music theory and all, and that seems like it'd use a bit similar kind of thing going on to math. I remember like reading like something like someone said something like math is like learning an entirely different language, and music theory is similar in a way that it's like learning a different language in a way because it's all these various different things to it. The trouble is, the music theory stuff, that kind of interests me, you see, because, I play guitar and all that, have an interest in making music, so yeah. Math, on the other hand, not so much. Well, you're actually able to work that stuff out. Yeah. Wow, I've never talked to a computer with legs before. Thanks, I think. At least I'm doing better in this than history. Think it's worth asking that librarian for help. Heard she's shooting for uni. Yuko? Maybe. I don't know what she wants to study, though. I'd be completely the opposite, really. I have more of an interest in history than math, so it's just like be the opposite. Oh, I'm crap at math. Good at history, though. Crap at math, though. So, what about you? Got anything you're thinking of doing after you graduate? Me? Nah, not really. Just enjoy it while it lasts. She looks a little awkward when asked about her future, and absentmindedly rubs her left forearm. I kind of want to ask her about it, but I don't think I know her well enough to do so. The conversation peters out, and I lean back in my chair, giving up on the prospect of studying. Miki notices my tired expression and looks oddly serious. Thinking about Hanako. It's that obvious. You've been grimacing at her seat, and you've been pretty quiet. Not too hard to connect the dots. I'm just worried about her. Yeah, I can see why you would be. She can get weird sometimes. She sounds put off, but I can't blame her. Hanako was a hard person to interact with before she warmed up to me. Even with Lily around to help, I haven't known her for that long hour, so some of her habits would still be unknown to me. My face becomes troubled. If I hadn't developed feelings for her, this would be at least a little easier to deal with. I mean, no offense, she isn't a bad person, I know that much. I know, I didn't take it that way. It's just harder to deal with when, well, you have feelings for someone. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's hard to forget something like what happened to her during class 2. I wish she hadn't reminded me of that. She just confirmed that it was clearly noticed by others in the room as well. Come on, don't get that, what? Don't get that down. Don't get that down? What? Shouldn't it be, don't let that get you down. Don't. I'm just like thinking, could it, like, if that was just a typo, like, but it isn't, it's completely, come on, don't get that down. Okay, whatever. It happens, man, you get typos. Well, a bit more of a typo there, but anyway, come on, don't let that get you down. She's done this before, you've just gotta wait it out. She locks herself in her room and acts like an empty husk of a person for a sizable amount of time. Ever since she entered Yamaku, if not before then as well. I'm not supposed to be concerned about that. Well, I might think that, but there's nothing that I can do. I can't force her to come out, and she does see a therapist, so it's not like she isn't getting any help for her issues. Maybe it's natural to think that way when you're so powerless to help someone. That's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it. As I mull things over, I notice a movement out of the corner of my eye. I glance to see who it is and end up doing a double take. Oh, that means yep. Sure enough, it's Hanako. She walks through the door just as she would any normal school day, and begins moving towards her seat in her usual silent and humble manner. She looks at me for a moment before blushing and looking away in embarrassment, which makes me realize that I was staring at her. I feel sorry for that, but not doing it is hard after all that's happened. Have you ever randomly stared at a stranger and you thought that stranger was someone you knew and that's why you were staring at them? You're just like, is that? You don't even say anything, you just stare at them.
And then just like when you realize it isn't someone you know, you're like, oh fuck, I must have looked like a right fucking tit there. The girl sitting on my desk looks to me grinning. See, your sweetheart's back already. What did I tell you? You be quiet. It might only be meant as a joke, but she hits close enough to make me quite uncomfortable. As we talk, someone calls Miki's name from the door. She jumps down from her vantage point on my desk before turning to me. Gotta go, Hisao. Remember to eat sometime, will ya? Fine, I will. See you. She gives a casual salute before jogging over to the door, where Mill's student in gym uniform is waiting for her. Probably someone from the track and field team. Someone, I mean. Seizing the opportunity, I get up and make my way to Hanako's desk. Oh, I can't sing the whole thing now, can I? Hello. Hi, Hanako. What's up? Nothing. Maybe talking to her this soon after she came back to class was a bad move. Wanna go, what? Wanna go come with me and grab some, wait. Want to go come with me and grab something from the cafeteria? I'm very hungry. Well, so am I, but that... Want to go come with me, want to go come with me and grab... the go could work, I guess, maybe. Want to go come with me. But at the same time, it feels awkward. Wouldn't it be better to say, want to come with me and grab something from the cafeteria instead of go? I thought you were studying. Studying can wait. Turning up for class after all this time must have taken some courage for Hanako. So the least I can do is stay with her. That's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it. Is the way Miki and probably the class as a whole views Hanako. I could do more for her, though. I want to do more for her. After being distracted by Miki, I don't think I'm going to get any work done. Come on, let's go. She hesitates, but eventually gets up and joins me as we begin walking. These may be small steps for her, but the fact that she's finally out of her room of her own will be shown. Lifts a large weight off my shoulders. Music stops and goes to do 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 do. Transition music theme. My pen busily scrawls onto a slowly viling page of my notebook. My other hand remains on the page of a reference book I borrowed from the library, marking my spots as my eyes flicker to and fro. As I work, I occasionally mark red circles or underlines onto the photocopied sheets of paper that lie on the table in front of me. Wanting a change of scenery, the bird chirps in my general direction from the library. That made that sentence sound weird, isn't it? Just like, yeah, the bird's in the library. And to avoid the distractions of the classroom, I decided to make use of the Shanghai for some quiet study time. It ended up being nice and quiet, as expected, and being able to get coffee while I study is a nice bonus. Hanako may have returned to her normal self since she came out of her room, but I've done quite the opposite. Daily routine may have started to may have returned to us, but I feel as if I'm a different person. Maybe I'm not. It's only been a few days, after all, since I decided I wanted to try and get out of the rut I'd found myself in after an accident. But I want to change, and I'm now actively working towards that goal. Or at least I would like to think that I am. This is impossible. Brute force in this isn't going to work. What's more, I have another piece of writing I have to do after this. I fear that's going to be no easier. I look up in mild surprise to the source of the tentative voice. Yuka stands at the head of the table with a damp towel in hand, clearly having taken the opportunity to clean the tables while no other patrons were around. She looks curious, her eyes as much on my work as on me. What's the matter? What is the matter? Over time. Hooray! Just one part then. Because, man, I freaking need to get some sleep, man. So, I guess this part probably won't have anything else added to the title. It'll just be like Hanako's bad ending, but there'll also be, you know, all this at the end of it as well, you know, kind of continuing on with the plot, going on to the normal good ending. But anyways, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.